The day the aliens came changed everything. Daniel Wright stood at his office window, watching the news reports play on screens across the city. The huge alien ship had appeared 3 days ago, hanging in the sky like a metal moon. People pointed and took pictures. Some ran to churches, others partied like it was the end of the world. Ambassador Wright. His assistant knocked on the door. "The president is calling." Daniel nodded. He was 55, with gray hair at his temples and eyes that had seen much in his career as a diplomat. He had solved problems between nations, but never between planets. "Yes, Madam President," he said, picking up the phone. "Daniel, they've asked for a representative. Just one. The United Nations voted an hour ago. They want you." Daniel's heart beat faster. "Me. Why?" "Because you stay calm when others panic. Because you listen more than you talk. And because if Earth has only one chance to make friends with aliens, we need our best person." 6 hours later, Daniel waited on a landing pad as a small silver ship descended from the massive mothership above. Wind whipped his gray suit jacket as the craft landed without a sound. A door opened, revealing soft blue light. Daniel took a deep breath and stepped inside. The journey was smooth and fast. Through the window, Earth grew smaller until it was just a blue marble. Daniel thought about his wife, his 2 grown children, and the 7 billion people depending on him not to mess this up. The alien ship was enormous up close. It could hold a small city. The shuttle docked, and Daniel followed lights along the floor until he reached 2 tall doors that opened by themselves. The room beyond took his breath away. Hundreds of alien beings sat in rows that rose like a bowl around a central platform. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange Daniel couldn't tell their front from their back. They came in all colors, sizes, and shapes. Some floated, some crawled, some had many eyes, or none at all. "The human may approach," said a voice in perfect English. Daniel walked to the center platform. His shoes echoed in the sudden quiet. A tall being with pale blue skin and 4 arms stood. "I am Xorlax, first chair of the Galactic Council. We represent 317 species from across this arm of the galaxy." Daniel bowed slightly. "I am Daniel Wright, representing Earth and humanity. We are honored by your presence and eager to learn from you." A sound like quiet laughter spread through the room. Xorlax's mouth curved into what might have been a smile, but it didn't seem friendly. "How charming," Xorlax said. "The Council has watched Earth for many centuries. Your kind has only recently discovered electricity. You still fight wars over land and invisible gods. You poison your only planet with your machines." More laughter filled the room, louder now. Daniel stood straight, keeping his face calm even as he felt the mockery from all sides. "The Council finds Earth's development amusing," Xorlax continued. "Some members suggested we should wait another 1,000 years before making contact, but others argued you might destroy yourselves before then." Daniel didn't respond. His years of diplomatic training had taught him when to speak and when to listen. This was a time to listen. "You may observe our proceedings for 7 days," Xorlax said. "Then we will decide if humans deserve any place in galactic affairs. Most believe you do not, but Council rules require we give even primitive species a hearing." A small alien with green scales approached. "I will show you to your quarters," it said. As Daniel followed, he could still hear the laughter. But inside his mind, he was already planning. They had made a mistake in mocking Earth, and soon they would learn why. Daniel's room on the alien ship was small but comfortable. The bed adjusted to his body, and the food machine made something close to coffee. But he couldn't enjoy any of it, not when Earth's future was at stake. For 3 days, Daniel sat in the Great Council chamber. For 3 days, Earth was the joke of the galaxy. "Look at their vehicles," said a purple alien with 6 eyes. "They burn dead plants to move around. How do they breathe with all that smoke?" The room filled with laughter. Another alien, tall and thin like a walking stick, stepped forward. I enjoy their entertainment broadcasts, especially the ones where humans compete to find mates or eat disgusting things for money. More laughter. My research team predicts humans will destroy their planet within 50 years, said a blob-like creature floating in a tank. They cannot stop using resources or making babies. It is simple math. Each night, Daniel returned to his room and found messages from Earth. The president wanted answers. The military wanted action. Business leaders wanted alien technology. Everyone wanted something. And they wanted it now. Daniel ignored them all. He watched. He listened. He learned. On the fourth night, there was a party. All council members gathered in a huge room with strange food and glowing drinks. Daniel stood alone until a group of junior diplomats approached him. Their leader was Terax, a lizard-like alien with sharp teeth and glittering scales. Human. Terax said, "I am curious. On your planet, you draw lines on the ground that no one can see from space. Then you kill each other over these invisible lines. Why?" The other aliens moved closer, waiting for Daniel's answer. "We call them borders," Daniel said calmly. "They're complicated." "Not complicated," Terax laughed. "Stupid. My species united our world 5,000 years ago. You cannot even agree on which god to worship. An alien with tentacles for a face joined in. Humans use most of their technology to make weapons or toys, not to solve problems. And you let the rich ones have everything while the poor ones starve," added another. "We watched your news. We know the truth." Daniel sipped his drink, which tasted like mint and metal. He didn't argue, didn't defend, just listened. "The Council will never accept Earth," Terax said. "You are too violent, too selfish, too human." The word human sounded like an insult. Daniel smiled slightly. "Perhaps, but I'm still curious about your histories. Does the Council Library have records I could study?" Terax seemed surprised by the question. "Of course. All Council knowledge is open to visitors, even primitive ones. I'll have someone show you." Later that night, instead of sleeping, Daniel sat in the vast library. The walls glowed with information in 100 languages. A helpful computer translated everything into English. Daniel didn't search for advanced technology or weapons. Instead, he looked for history. The history of each alien species before they joined the Council. As the ship's night passed, Daniel's eyes grew wide. Page after page revealed the truth. The lizard people had fought a war that lasted 300 years. The tentacle faces had nearly destroyed their atmosphere with factories. The floating blobs had once enslaved half their population. Every species had a dark past. Everyone had made mistakes just like humans. But there was something else in the records, something the Council didn't talk about openly. They had a problem, a big one. As morning approached, Daniel received a message from Earth. It was from Susan Carter at NASA. "Found something important in their ship's energy readings," she wrote. "Call when secure." Daniel smiled. The pieces were coming together. Today, the mockery would continue. But soon, very soon, it would be Earth's turn to speak. Daniel found a quiet corner of his room where the walls seemed thickest. He placed a small device on the floor that created a bubble of static to block any listening devices. Then he called Earth. Susan Carter's face appeared on his screen. She was in her 40s with short brown hair and tired eyes that showed she hadn't slept much. "Tell me what you found," Daniel said. Susan held up a chart. "Their ship puts out weird energy readings. It's like they're running on empty. We think they use something called element 479 to power their ships." "Never heard of it," Daniel said. "That's because on Earth, it's worthless. We find it sometimes when mining for other minerals, but it has no use for us. We throw it away." Daniel leaned forward, and they need it. Desperately, according to these readings. Their big ship is using the last of its reserves. The pieces clicked together in Daniel's mind. The Council's sudden interest in Earth, the mockery designed to make humans feel small and weak. Send me everything about element 479, where it's found on Earth, how much we have. Already done, Susan said. There's one more thing. We've been watching how they treat other ships that come to the mothership. Some species get respect. Others get the same treatment as us. The difference? Resources. They need raw materials from across the galaxy. After the call ended, Daniel returned to the library. He now knew what to look for. The council history was carefully polished to look noble and fair, but Daniel dug deeper. He found records of cooperative agreements that were really just ways to take resources from weaker planets. He found species that disappeared after their useful minerals ran out. He found a pattern going back thousands of years. The Great Galactic Council wasn't about peace or progress. It was about power and control. Daniel worked through the night, collecting proof and preparing his case. In the morning, he would have just one chance to speak, one chance to change everything. As the ship's fake dawn lit his room, Daniel took a shower in the strange alien water that cleaned without getting him wet. He dressed in his best suit and took a small stone from his pocket, a simple rock from Earth that his daughter had given him for luck. Today's the day, he told his reflection in the mirror. Meanwhile, on Earth, Susan Carter and her team worked nonstop. They mapped every deposit of element 479 on the planet. They calculated how much there was and where. The numbers were shocking. Earth had more element 479 than any 10 planets in the Council records. It was in Earth's oceans, mountains, and deserts. Humans had been walking on it, swimming in it, and ignoring it forever. Susan sent the final report to Daniel just as he was leaving for the council chamber. "This is better than I hoped," Daniel whispered as he read the numbers. The halls of the alien ship seemed different today. Daniel noticed things he'd missed before. The flickering lights, the worn patches on the floors, the worried looks some aliens gave each other. This wasn't a ship at the height of its power. This was a civilization struggling to keep going. As Daniel entered the great chamber, the seats were full. Word had spread that the human would make his final statement today. Everyone wanted to see Earth beg for a place at the table. Thorlax, the council leader, stood tall at the center. The human representative may now present Earth's case for consideration. Try to be brief. Some of us have important matters to attend to. Quiet laughter rippled through the room. They all expected Daniel to fail. But as Daniel walked to the speaking platform, he felt calm. He had the truth, and sometimes truth was the most powerful weapon of all. The council chamber fell quiet as Daniel walked to the center platform. Hundreds of alien eyes watched him, some with pity, some with amusement, all expecting him to fail. Daniel carried nothing with him. No notes, no computer, just the small earth stone in his pocket that he touched once for luck. Thorlax spoke from above. The human may now try to explain why Earth deserves a place in galactic affairs. You have 10 minutes. More soft laughter spread through the room. 10 minutes to decide the fate of a planet. Daniel looked around slowly, making eye contact with as many council members as he could. Then he began. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," he said, his voice strong and clear. "Thank you for your honesty these past days. You've pointed out many of humanity's flaws, and you're right about most of them." The laughter stopped. This was not what they expected. Yes, we have fought wars over borders and beliefs. Yes, we have damaged our environment. Yes, we struggle with inequality and injustice. Whispers spread through the chamber. Was the human agreeing with them? "But in your rush to judge us," Daniel continued, "you've shown me more about yourselves than about humanity." The room went completely silent. "I've spent my nights studying your histories. The real histories, not the pretty stories you tell newcomers." Daniel turned to face the reptilian section. The Terrax people fought a war that lasted 300 years over which bloodline would rule. 20 million dead. Terrax's scales darkened with anger or shame. Daniel turned to another section. The Vex Confederation killed 1/4 of their population in genetic purges before they achieved unity. Murmurs of shock spread. These were not facts shared with outsiders. The Arcadians destroyed 2 of their moons mining for resources. The Zinthari created poverty on purpose to control population growth. Daniel walked in a slow circle, addressing each major group. Every species represented here has a past filled with the same mistakes humans are making now. The difference isn't our nature, it's our timeline. Daniel pressed a button on his wrist. A hologram appeared showing Earth's progress from the first wheel to space travel. Humanity went from horse-drawn carriages to landing on our moon in just 66 years. From the first computer to worldwide networks in less than 50. From first flight to orbiting satellites in 54. The display showed these advancements as a rising line, climbing much steeper than the similar lines for other species. While it took the honored Xorlax 900 years to achieve spaceflight, humans did it in less than 1. This pattern holds true across all technologies we've developed. Xorlax shifted uncomfortably on their platform. Others in the chamber looked at each other with new expressions. Not mockery now. Something closer to worry. But here's what truly interests me, Daniel said, his voice dropping lower so everyone had to lean forward to hear. Why would the mighty Galactic Council care so much about one primitive planet? Why spend time mocking us instead of simply ignoring us until we catch up? Daniel touched the stone in his pocket again. The answer is in your ship's engines, in your power systems, in your worried conversations when you think no one is listening. Daniel displayed another image, the molecular structure of element 479. You're running out of this. Without it, your faster-than-light travel fails. Your artificial gravity fails. Your Grand Council falls apart as planets can no longer reach each other. Gasps spread through the room. This was supposed to be a secret. And Earth, Daniel said, smiling slightly, has more element 479 than any planet you've ever found. We have oceans of it, mountains of it. We have so much that we throw it away as worthless. The silence in the room was absolute now. No one moved. No one spoke. You didn't invite Earth to join the galactic community, Daniel said quietly. You came to see if we could be easily conquered for our resources. Chaos erupted in the council chamber. Aliens shouted in 100 different languages. Some stood up, pointing at Daniel. Others huddled together, whispering urgently. A few headed for the exits. Xorlax banged a glowing staff on the floor 3 times. Silence. The noise died down slowly. These are serious accusations. Human? Xorlax said, trying to sound calm. You have no proof of these. Resource problems. Daniel smiled. Don't I? He touched his wrist device again. The hologram changed to show the council mothership. Your main engines are running at 23% capacity. Your shields flicker on the north quadrant. 3 of your 7 energy cores are shut down to save power. An alien with flowing tentacles for arms stood up. How could he know this? The human must have spies. No spies, Daniel said. Just good scientists. Earth may be young, but we're observant. Daniel walked around the platform, the hologram following him. For 3 days, you mocked our technology, our wars, our mistakes. But you missed something important about humans. He paused, looking around the room. We adapt. We learn. We grow. Faster than any species you've encountered. The hologram showed Earth's rapid advancement again, this time compared to the combined council races. In the time it took your oldest members to develop 1 new energy source, humans created 5. While you spent centuries slowly exploring your home systems, we sent probes to every planet and ours within decades. Xorlax stepped down from their high position, approaching Daniel. What is your point, human? That you develop weapons faster? That you'll fight us for your place? Daniel shook his head. My point is that you didn't need to trick us or mock us or plan to conquer us. You could have simply asked. The room went quiet again. Asked? Xorlax repeated, confused. For help, Daniel said. For element 479. For a fair trade. Humans understand cooperation. We've been doing it since we lived in caves. It's how we survived. Daniel displayed a new image. Earth's huge deposits of element 479 spread across every continent, glowing blue against the planet's surface. We have enough of this element to power your entire fleet for 1,000 years. And we don't even use it. To us, it's just a strange rock. Murmurs spread through the chamber, different this time. Not mockery or anger, but interest. Maybe even hope. But instead of honest trade, you chose deception, Daniel continued. You came to our world pretending to offer friendship while planning to take what you needed. You assumed we were too primitive to notice. Sorlax's skin changed color slightly, showing embarrassment. The Council has procedures, protocols for dealing with developing worlds. Outdated protocols, Daniel said firmly. Maybe they worked with other planets. But Earth is different. We would have shared our resources freely in exchange for knowledge and fair treatment. Instead, you chose to make us a punchline. Daniel pulled the small Earth stone from his pocket and held it up. Everyone could see it now. A plain gray rock with blue flecks running through it. Element 479, hidden in ordinary stone. This worthless rock from my planet could save your civilization, Daniel said. And all you had to do was ask with respect. The council members looked at each other. Some seemed ashamed, others angry, many confused. A small alien with glowing spots along its body spoke up. What does Earth want in return for this element? Daniel put the stone back in his pocket. That's a much better question. Now we can begin real talks. Sorlax tried to regain control. The Council does not negotiate with primitive. The Council, Daniel interrupted, is running out of fuel for its ships. Earth has what you need. Either talk with us as equals, or we'll find others who will. Others? Sorlax asked. Daniel nodded. We've detected at least 17 non-council ships watching this meeting from a distance. I'm guessing they're independent worlds who don't appreciate how the Council treats them either. Should we speak with them instead? Sorlax's 4 hands clenched and unclenched. For the first time, the mighty council leader looked uncertain. What are your terms, Earth? Sorlax finally asked. The chamber was so quiet you could hear the soft hum of the ship's systems. Every alien watched as Daniel prepared to state Earth's terms. Earth wants 3 things, Daniel said clearly. First, full technological sharing. Your medical advances, your energy systems, your faster-than-light travel methods. No holding back the good stuff. Grumbles spread through the chamber. This was a big ask. Second, equal voting rights on the Council, effective immediately. Not observer status. Not junior membership. Full and equal voice. The grumbles grew louder. No new species had ever received full status without centuries of waiting. Third, Daniel continued, ignoring the noise, a public apology for the mockery and the admission that the Council came to Earth planning to take our resources without fair payment. This caused an uproar. Council members shouted and gestured wildly. Some translator devices couldn't keep up with the alien curse words. Sorlax raised all 4 hands for silence. These demands are impossible. No new species gets voting rights without proving themselves first. Our technology is protected by ancient laws, and the Council has never apologized to anyone. Daniel didn't flinch. Those are our terms. In exchange, Earth will provide element 479 in amounts that will solve your energy crisis. We'll also share our unique approaches to innovation, which clearly move faster than yours. A tall alien with skin like tree bark stood up. What if we simply take what we need? Your planet has no defenses against our weapons. Daniel nodded as if expecting this. I wondered when the threats would start. He touched his wrist device again. While we've been talking, Earth has been busy. The hologram showed human scientists working with blue-flecked stones, testing, analyzing. We've discovered that element 479 isn't just useful for your engines. With the right electrical charge, it becomes highly unstable, almost explosive. The chamber went completely still. If any ships approach Earth with harmful intent, we'll detonate small amounts of element 479 in our upper atmosphere. The energy release would disable your systems and strand your ships. Daniel wasn't actually sure if this was true. The Earth scientists had theories, not proof. But his face showed only confidence. Plus, he added, we've prepared data packages about the Council's true history and your exploitation of other worlds. If attacked, we'll broadcast these to every planet within reach of our signals. An alien that looked like a glass sculpture filled with colored smoke spoke in a musical voice. The human threatens us all for the mistakes of the leadership. This is why primitive species cannot be trusted. Daniel shook his head. Not threatening. Protecting. Earth has no interest in conflict. We want fair exchange, technology and respect for resources and cooperation. He looked directly at Sorlax. The choice is simple, partnership or competition. Sorlax's color changed again, darker now with what might be anger. And if we refuse your demands, what then? Then Earth will deal directly with the independent worlds instead. We'll offer them fair trades for their technology. We'll help them form their own coalition, based on actual cooperation rather than control. Daniel paused. How long do you think the council would last then? Sorlax and several senior members moved to a corner of the chamber, speaking in hushed tones. Other groups formed, arguing in their own languages. The chamber buzzed with tension. Daniel waited calmly in the center. His heart beat fast, but his face showed nothing but patience. Either his plan would work, or Earth would face a very dangerous future. After what seemed like forever, Sorlax returned to the center platform. The council requires time to discuss these proposals, they said stiffly. We will adjourn for 3 hours. As the aliens filed out, many gave Daniel strange looks. Not mockery anymore. Some looked angry, others curious. A few seemed almost impressed. Terax, the reptilian who had insulted humans at the party, paused beside Daniel. Either you are the bravest being I've ever met, he hissed quietly, or the most foolish. Daniel smiled slightly. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. The chamber emptied, leaving Daniel alone with his thoughts and the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. 3 months later, Daniel stood on the same platform in the council chamber. Everything had changed. The room didn't feel as cold or imposing anymore. The lighting was brighter. The mood was different. And Daniel wasn't alone this time. Susan Carter stood beside him, along with a small team of Earth scientists and diplomats. They wore simple blue uniforms with a new patch on the shoulder, Earth's continents surrounded by stars. Sorlax approached the center platform. The Council recognizes Earth's delegation with the respect due to a provisional member. Not full membership, but close. It was more than any new species had received in thousands of years. Daniel nodded. Earth thanks the Council for its wisdom in seeing mutual benefit where there could have been conflict. The final agreement hadn't given Earth everything Daniel had demanded. They received limited voting rights instead of full ones. They got access to most technologies, but not the most advanced weapons. And the Council hadn't exactly apologized. They'd simply acknowledged communication difficulties in their first contact. But it was enough. Earth had secured its place among the stars. After the formal ceremony, Daniel walked through the corridors of the mothership with Susan. The hallways were busier now, with humans mixing freely with aliens, learning from each other. The first shipment of element 479 leaves Earth next week, Susan said. Enough to power their main fleet for a year. And what do we get in return? Daniel asked, though he already knew. Susan smiled. The medical technology alone is amazing. Cancer treatments that work overnight, regrown limbs, extended lifespans, and the physics team is going crazy over the faster-than-light drive specifications. Daniel nodded. Worth the trade, I'd say. Not everyone was happy, of course. Some council members still whispered that humans had been given too much, too fast. There were concerns about how quickly Earth would advance with access to alien knowledge. And on Earth, some countries argued over who should control the new technologies. Some religious groups feared what contact with aliens meant for their beliefs. Change never came easily. As Daniel and Susan passed a large window, they stopped to look at the view. Earth was visible in the distance, a blue marble hanging in the blackness of space. "Do you think we'll be okay?" Susan asked, moving this fast into their world. Daniel watched a group of young human scientists talking excitedly with a Terrax teacher. The same Terrax who had mocked humans at the party now showed them how to use alien computer systems. "I think we'll be fine," Daniel said. "Humans are good at adapting. It's what we do best." A small alien child approached them, looking up with large purple eyes. It held out a drawing, a crude picture of Earth with stick figure humans and aliens holding hands around it. Daniel knelt down and accepted the drawing with a smile. "Thank you," he said, though he wasn't sure if the child understood English. The alien child made a sound like bells ringing and ran back to its parent. "You know what's funny?" Susan said as they continued walking. 3 months ago, they thought we were a joke. Now half the council races are studying our history, our art, our music. Daniel smiled. Turns out humans have something to offer after all. They reached the shuttle bay where a ship waited to take them back to Earth. Several council members had gathered to say goodbye, including Thorlax. "Ambassador Wright," Thorlax said formally, "the council appreciates Earth's cooperation in these new arrangements." Daniel nodded. "And Earth appreciates the council's willingness to grow and change. Perhaps that's something all intelligent life shares, the ability to adapt when necessary." As Daniel boarded the shuttle, he felt the small Earth stone in his pocket, the one he'd carried throughout the negotiations. He'd considered leaving it in the council chamber as a symbol, but decided to keep it. It was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful response to mockery wasn't anger or force, but simply the truth, delivered with quiet confidence. Humanity had taken its first true step into a larger universe, and the stars would never be the same.